Right. Oh, there we go. We're live. Welcome, everybody, to a Thursday live hangout. I'm pleased to say I've got Tom with me. How are you doing in this sweltering heat, mate?
Hello there. Yeah, you'll have to all let me know if you can hear me all right, because I've got like about 4 fans blowing on me, so there might be some interference and stuff. So apologies, but yeah, it's chuffing warm. That's all I'll say, as I'm sure everybody knows.
Yeah, if you're not here in the UK, just to let you know, we're having a heat wave. I think predictions for today was it was going to be one of the hottest days on record. I went outside earlier and the wind was hot. It reminded me of when I was in Arizona. It's that crazy hot. But yeah, we're not used to this in the UK, so we just like fall apart. I've got a fan on the back of my Mac because it is hot to touch. I'm sure I could roast an egg or cook an egg on here, fry an egg on here. That's what I mean. Oh dear. So anyway, we are live. If you're watching live, pop in and say hi. Let me just see who was in first. Pete was in first. Well done, Pete. Good to see you, mate. Margaret is in. Gary says good afternoon, Andrea, Nick, and chat. Andrea's not with me. It's just me and Tom today. And I did put in the title, which is what I want to touch on first. That it's time for a change. So just say a few more hellos. Ruthie's 11.7 is in. Paul and Lou. Mick Page is in Dorset. Welcome. Tommy Bernhard, good to see you. Right, I'm going to scroll down to the end. Hi, Kirsten. Bumcrack Picker, Panzer. Steve is in. Hey, Steve. Oh, man. Now I haven't got the fan on me. I feel the sweat coming on. Yeah, I'm really glad that you could join me, actually, Tom. I was saying to you privately that I think you were the first guest I ever had on live, and then I came on your channel, which must be about 5 years ago, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I'd say probably 5 years ago. Definitely over 4, because we had the first Hitchin meetup 3 years ago, and you had the shop then. So
yeah, well, I think it's 5 years for me this summer, or is it 6? I think it's 5 years I've been doing YouTube this summer. So I don't know, but it's a long time. The point is, I've been doing a regular midweek. It was Tuesdays, then it was Thursdays for a long time. It was myself and Zahir weekly for a long time, and then it was different guests. I've decided I'm not going to do this Thursday hangout anymore. I tried to get something started with Lonnie. That just didn't work out. And I feel like I'm repeating myself, and I've kind of lost the enthusiasm for it. So a regular midweek live is not going to be happening from this point. It doesn't mean we may not come back to it. We may get guests on every now and again. But for myself and Andrea, we really enjoyed a Sunday one. That's grown into something that's really fun for us. People really enjoy it, and we have enthusiasm for that. I don't want to keep doing a midweek live if I'm just going through the motions. I think it would show and the quality would tail off. So yeah, that's the plan. We're going to stop the this is the old and original Tat Chat. I don't know how many hundreds we've done, but it's quite a lot. So that's the plan from here on in. But yeah, I don't know how many hundreds. I used to keep track with numbers of how many of these we've done, and I lost track of it.
Yeah, you should try and work out, because there's certainly several hundred. I can understand your point, Nick. I mean, you know, you don't want to sort of be going over and over the same things again and again. And it's not good content for other people if you're scratching about for stuff to talk about, really.
Exactly, and it's actually quite a lot of work behind the scenes to reach out to people and line people up and get everything organized. And I don't have the headspace for that. I think I'll still get guests on, but it will just be as and when it works, really. But trying to force a live hangout for an hour midweek every week, it's just, I don't know. I feel it's had its day. So moving forward, we'll keep doing the Sunday ones, but there won't be a regular midweek live anymore. So I just see Andrew's come in. Hi, Andrew.
Ah, the perv himself.
The what? What do you call him?
The perv.
Of the perv?
Yeah, the self-declared perv himself. according to George Ross, anyway. So I've heard.
So what's going on your end? I haven't spoken to you live for a while. How's business?
Yeah, all right. I mean, I'm in the midst of sorting my house out and doing DIY and stuff. I choose because obviously the summer's a slow time, pretty much for most people in reselling. I mean, or just most of business. I mean, the reason why like Amazon's got Prime Day in the middle of the summer because it's just slow. So I've taken a bit of time off from reselling a little bit. I've been doing sort of part time, you know. To sort of have a break and catch up with other stuff, paperwork, just stuff like that, really. So I've not actually been to a car boot sale now since March, which is insane. Yeah, weird.
Wow. I mean, to give some context, I've known you for many years now, and you would be hitting 4 or 5 a weekend.
No, yeah, I'd be doing 2 on a Saturday, 4 on a Sunday, and 2 midweek. So it was ridiculous.
No wonder you've got piles and piles of shame, the amount of boot sales you used to go to. So does this mean that you have reduced your stock holding considerably?
Well, no. I think it's like gremlins. You know, you must have got water on it or something. It's just multiplied. It's just ridiculous. Yeah, I don't know. I think I should be sponsored by what's that cream called? Anasoil or something like that, because my piles are horrific. I've got so much stuff. It's just ridiculous. And then it's stuff that like I'm going back to now, and I'm like, why did I buy this? You know, it's like I've moved on so much since then. I just think, gosh, why am I buying like Trivial Pursuits with broken boards? And, you know, all this sort of stuff. I think it's almost like time capsule. It's weird.
That's the trouble with buying stock and not dealing with it straight away, isn't it? That trends move on and we move on as people. I've actually just done a video talking about moving bulky stuff, and I've got this terrible habit of buying keyboards, for example, this amp and other stuff. And because there's extra work involved, testing, cleaning, and then it's, you know, there's a fair amount of description and work in listing these. I tend to list media, toys and games, my comfort zone stuff first, and all of this gets left. So I've forced myself today to pick out 10 big, bulky, complicated items and list them. But then I made the mistake of making the video and talking about the values of it all before I tested it and looked at it closely. I've now found this had exploded batteries in the back. So I'm going to have to readdress that. I had a coffee maker here, which wasn't worth a great deal. When I looked into that closely, it was screwed. I'm not even going to list it. So I'm going to have to add to the end of the video and say, don't count your chickens before you've, you know, fully looked at the item, because you can't value anything until you've tested it and really looked at it closely. And yeah, so I'm going to have to redo the end of that video now.
Oh, the amount of stuff I found that at the time I bought was fine, and I've left the batteries in. Like I had this Mac wireless keyboard, and the batteries are swollen inside, so I can't actually get the batteries out. So it's like, great. Yeah, and then I've had like a nice Sony Walkman, a tape player one. Batteries have just exploded. It's like, oh, God, it's so frustrating. When you know that you've done it, or just your ineptitude has just caused it somehow, it's really annoying.
Yeah, it's if anyone takes one thing away from this video, it is check the batteries when you buy it and take them out regardless.
Yeah.
The batteries weren't still in this keyboard, but you could see where they'd been, and this gun should clearly come out, and how I didn't notice it at the time. But this was part of that huge job lot I picked up last December, and I actually saw it working at the guy's house. So it works on the power lead, so I'm still going to do it, but I think I'll just have to reduce my expectations on it.
Yeah.
Going back to you suffering with colossal piles, I've got something for you. Do you want me to send you
Hey.
the stuff we end up with in this game is mad. This is a donut cushion. If you suffer from piles as Tom does.
Yeah. Well, is that Mediquip? I was going to say that's
I've
had it. Oh, I was going to say I've had issues listing Mediquip stuff before, because apparently it belongs to Mediquip or something.
Oh, okay. No, I think this will be fine. I've seen these on Amazon and eBay.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, this is brand new in packet. I'm not sure I'd deal with one of these if it wasn't sealed. Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway,
There's some things that you do want to sell sealed.
absolutely. So welcome if you're just joining us. We're just having a little bit of a hangout, really. I was just saying that these regular weekly midweek hangouts are going to stop, at least for the time being. We're going to carry on with the Sunday show. So that was the main message of the hangout, really. And then we're just having a catch up with Tom. Oh, hi, Lex. Lex is in. Chris B is in. Is Lex in? I thought I just saw Lex.
Maybe I thought I just saw Lex.
Maybe I imagined that. I can't see her now. Maybe Lex isn't there. Chris B, Bexify, Lisa Cotton, Julie is in, Tea Cakes. Oh, Sergeant Spork has super chatted $5. Thank you so much for that. So do you find many military items for sale in the UK? I don't tend to see a lot. I do when I go to auction, which I don't tend to do a great deal. The only decent military find I've had in recent years was that collection of German photographs that I bought up when I came to see you, Tom. Do you find a lot of military where you are?
I used to, yeah, because there was a guy who used to sell at the local car boot who was ex-military, and he dealt a lot in the outfits, and we sold a lot of it to people who went camping and stuff. So we dealt in army surplus. But I haven't seen him much. I mean, I've bought some weird stuff like that. I do see quite a bit. The weirdest one, which I feel kind of a bit weird about, was I sold a component. I probably couldn't. I don't know whether I should have sold it, but it was a Kevlar plate that fits in the middle of a bulletproof vest, ballistic plate. And I sold it as like a military collectible. I bought it for a tenner, and it sold for 70 quid. This was several years ago. Probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, something like that. And it sold internationally, and it went to the Crimea Peninsula just before the annexing from Russia. So I was like, oh my God, I wonder if that actually got used.
Yeah.
And I was like, Jesus Christ. I sold it, I was just listing it as like a collectible thing. Like I was like, no warranties implied, don't come back to me if you get shot, kind of thing. It sold instantly. Within minutes, it sold instantly.
You don't imagine if you sell a piece of military equipment, it's going to be used in a military conflict.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Wow, that's quite a story.
So I don't think you can sell that sort of stuff anymore. But yeah, this was. It must. Well, whenever that was, if you look it up, it was several months just before that. Yeah. So that was the weirdest one, I think. But yeah, I've had some absolutely amazing military things in the past. One of the best finds was a little badge, a little brooch, and it was made out of an old penny, but it was for the resistance movement in the Channel Islands. And it was like you wore it to say that you were sort of in the resistance, and you'd wear it under your lapel and you'd show it to someone just as like, but if you got caught with that badge, you could be executed by the Nazis. So they're quite rare. And I found that at a car boot, and I paid £7 for it. And I can't remember, but it was in the hundreds that sold for.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a really nice find. And the only reason I knew about it is because I've seen it on some random, like one of these daytime TV military programs.
Mm.
And that was off a dealer as well. Like someone who, you see I say dealer, but it's someone who's got like jewelry cabinets. They're obviously, it's their sort of, they're retired, and it's their sort of,
yeah, the store where they do it kind of semi-regularly, and they know that stuff has a certain value.
Yeah.
So they put it in a cabinet. It's interesting because I used to collect militaria stuff. I used to do it with my granddad. We'd go to antique fairs and stuff, and he'd pick it out because he served in the Second World War, and he was really fascinated with teaching me about that sort of stuff. And I've got a few bits left. But one bit, I've still got First World War German Pickelhaube helmet, which is really nice.
Wow.
Which my great-granddad picked up from the Somme and brought home, which is obviously not leaving the family.
No.
But one of the nicest bits I had that I think my granddad picked up from an antiques fair somewhere was a button. So you'd used to have it on your tunic, but the top of it would come off, and underneath was a compass.
Oh,
So
wow.
if you were captured and escaped,
Yeah.
hopefully you'd have managed to keep hold of that button, and then you'd have a compass. It didn't actually have the outer, the fake button top on it, but it had the little stud and this little tiny, it was only about a centimetre and a half. But I loved that as a kid. That fascinated me. And I used to have loads of buttons. I had a collection of cat badges of all different counties. But I got rid of most of that. I think after my grandfather died, that was something we did together, and I kind of lost that passion for it, really.
Yeah, definitely. No, I was the same. I collected all sorts. I mean, my mum always used to say, "Gosh, I was never allowed like Nerf guns or toy guns as a kid," and she always used to say that she wished she'd let me because as soon as I turned like 17, I was buying swords and military hats and gosh, all sorts of stuff. It was ridiculous. So yeah, I've had all sorts, but I sold a lot of it off. I mean, the problem is some of it I had to put through the auction houses because it was, obviously you can't sell swords on eBay. So that's the only downside. But I've had some amazing stuff over the years, and one of that huge house clearance I did, that was all military books, and the amount of stuff from there. I mean, gosh, just. But I do see it, and when I used to buy gold and silver, I used to buy the medals, but I always felt awful selling them because I just thought, gosh, someone's, won this medal and the family sold it. I just thought it was awful, really. So I'd always try and do my best to do research on them and stuff like that. So there was, I was never selling them for scrap or anything like that. Yeah, it's it's just a bit sad. Those sort of things don't stay in the family. Like you said with that helmet, that sort of thing, it's really got to stay in the family.
I think so. It's just, I can see why things do end up coming on the open market, because unless you instill the importance of something to your kids, when you're gone, it doesn't mean anything to them. So you have to kind of keep the story alive, the importance of the items alive. Otherwise, they're just nothing. And when your time is up and you've got this family heirloom, unless you've instilled the importance of it into your kids, it's just, oh, I can flog this for 100 quid, and they don't really care. So I think that's where things, drop off, because you haven't explained the importance to your children, and they're the only ones you're going to pass it on to, I guess. So
yeah, I mean, it's a balance, obviously. You don't want to every single this this pot here had buttons in that your great grandma used to do this and that with, and then you become a hoarder of other people's memories. So it's really picking and choosing, but it's definitely nice to keep those sort of things.
Let me
see if there's any other questions.
The chat. I saw Derek was in earlier. I know he's sunning himself in. I think he's in Bulgaria.
Yeah, he's in Bulgaria.
Having a whale of a time.
Kenneth's in as well.
Right. Singing Iris says, Nick, thanks for the idea with the tapes. I picked up a Herbert Gronemeyer, is it maybe? Tape at a local charity shop for 30 cents this week. Sold it yesterday for $6.55. Okay, good. Tea Cake says, buy it, list it, don't buy more until you're all uploaded. Yeah, I'm still trying to get to that nirvana point of having everything listed and then going outsourcing with no backlog, but it is difficult. I mean, for example, I've not been going out a great deal sourcing. If anything, I've been trying to clear stock, like we did a boot sale last week. But you could easily go out to 5 or 6 boot sales, like Tom was saying before, a weekend, and fill the car up 2 or 3 times. You're never going to list all of that. But in winter, then you've got a backup of stock to get you through the lean months. And that's how we've always kind of worked it. So what were you messing with then? It sounded like scissors.
No, you said tapes, and I picked up some tapes the other day. A load of old rave type tapes. This one's old school Sun City 1995, 1996, 1997. So I've got a few of those to list as a job lot.
Nice.
But
I know there's a market for that kind of acid house era and mixed
yeah,
packs, tape packs, whatever they used to call them.
I need to get a pencil in there and tighten up the things. But yeah, there's those. But this was a cool find. Didn't find this recently, but I found it when I was going through stuff. I bought this, gosh, about 2 years ago, something like that, and I paid 49p for it from Bernardo. So it shows how long, because you don't see tapes anymore. It's E17, and it's signed. Yeah, so pretty cool.
I wonder if there's a market for that.
No idea, but the cassette on its own isn't worth a great deal, like £3-4. But signed, I don't know. The signatures seem to check out anyway. So, but yeah, 49p. I was going to buy that anyway. So, but I still haven't listed it.
It is nice finding signed stuff, but quite often unless there's a demand for that particular band, it's going to be difficult. I mean, E17 are long gone, aren't they? I believe. So I don't know, but yeah, I just like picking up stuff like that. You know, that's been signed by the artist, if you can call E17 artists.
Yeah, I mean, I had in with some DVDs I got the other day. I think I sent you a picture. It was a Little Britain, the first series on DVD, which is worth nothing, but it's signed by David Williams, you know, Matt Lucas, and the woman as well, whose name I can't remember. But that isn't worth much either. I maybe get a tenner free post for that, because I think they signed quite a lot of them, so it's not worth loads.
That sort of thing, but then you're getting into putting things away and hoarding. I think that Little Britain will be seen as a classic in another kind of 10 years, won't it? People will look back on that, I think, quite fondly, and then I think the values of signed stuff will go up. But yeah, it's tricky. I've still got all of those German footballers' signed cards and that big picture, and I keep reducing the price, and nobody cares. Nobody wants it.
Yeah,
I think I'll stick them on auction soon and just get shot.
Yeah, that's the thing. Sometimes you've got to.
So Ken is in. Ken Chapman says, talking of piles, we've just added to ours with 2 big hauls in 2 days. Not that we need anything. Well, there you go, Ken. We're all the same, really. We don't need the stuff, but when it's there and you know you can make money, it's hard to turn it down, really.
I mean, I've still gone out and bought stuff. I've gone to like the local charity shops and had a little mooch about. I can't go completely cold turkey. I think that would be impossible, to be fair.
Oh, Vintage Vandal has said, how much are you asking for these 17 cassettes?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Maybe if you can contact Tom on Facebook or something.
Yeah, shoot me a message. Yeah.
Sure, there's a deal to be done.
Yeah.
Okay. Game Boys Are Awesome is in. Have you ever seen his channel?
Yeah, I met him. Yeah, top
really
nice guy. Yeah, met him in a car boot once. I bought some stuff off him actually. Yeah.
Yeah, it does really good like hidden camera videos around car boot sales, picking up mostly gaming stuff.
Yeah, he's sort of semi-local to me. You know, he's not too far away. He frequents some of the same car boots.
Oh, Andrew's saying, I nearly had a copy of the Ashes signed by Nick. We gave away some at the last meetup at Bristol. And people wanted us to sign them, which was really odd.
That reminds me, I need to film that Ashes video because it starts in a week or so, doesn't it? So.
Oh, does it? I don't really follow cricket, to be honest.
I've probably got about I've got over 50 copies of it now. So.
What are you going to do with them? Are you going to build a bonfire or what?
Yeah. I don't know yet. I need to find a suitable venue where destruction can occur, but something's going to go down, definitely.
Some people, it makes me laugh. I mean, I know the Tat Chat Facebook group isn't there anymore, but regularly on there, people would post pictures of the Ashes DVD, and new people coming into reselling would assume that it had value or that it was something to look for. It's an in-joke, people. The Ashes DVD box set has no real value, but you'll see it in almost every charity. That's all it is. And why Tom has a pile of them is entirely Tom's business.
It's a shame, actually, it's not near a sort of bonfire night, because it would be nice to get some fireworks and really go for it. But I think it's going to be a bit more subdued than I would like. But yes, I will get to that at some point.
Yeah, you could do one of those videos like 50 different ways to destroy a DVD box set.
Yeah, yeah.
Just do a series.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true.
People make YouTube channels with less of an idea than that.
True. Well, it's like that Will It Blend channel was huge.
Is that still going?
I don't know if it is still, to be fair. We've got F&S resellers saying, look at the price of the Ashes box set on Amazon.
Why has it gone up?
Probably because they've restricted everyone for selling DVDs. That's I imagine why.
Oh, I can't really get into it right now. I'll take a look after this.
I'll have a quick
look. So yeah, I've put the link to Tom's channel talking about YouTube. Tom was, oh, what was that?
Oh, sorry, it's a motorbike.
That's right. Tom was the first UK-based, sort of eBay-based, reselling-based channel that I watched, and the first person that I contacted and kind of got to know when I started videos. So I've linked Tom's channel below. Have you got more plans for videos in the pipeline?
Yeah, I will get back to it. I mean, I've basically between that and the gaming channel, I had 5 months off. You know, I've become a dad, so I wanted to take time to enjoy that and to get things going. So I'm probably going to get to the 6 month mark and then get back into it again. I've missed it. I really have missed making the videos.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It can be a lot of work. I mean, another part of the reason why I'm stopping this show is that I used to have a guest on every week, and it was becoming, I don't know, it was a lot of work to organise that and to find someone. And then it was starting to feel a bit like Groundhog Day anyway. And I tried to get something going with Lonnie, which didn't really pan out. So. Are you sure that's a motorbike? It's only right past the table.
I've got like a million windows open, so apologies everyone if it's a bit loud. Unfortunately, my Blue Yeti microphone seems to not want to work with my laptop for some unknown reason. I've got a Facebook page, Vintage Vandal. If you just search Tom the English Picker on Facebook, you can find me there. Got George Ross in as well.
Hey, George. He's saying there, so many people have been and gone. It's survival of the fittest. We can tell you everything till the cows come home, but it can't make you do the actual work. I think he's responding to somebody who's brought up the age-old thing of is YouTube getting too many people into reselling and saturating the market. I think the point of that is we're living in an age of information now. The information is out there, whether you're looking at YouTube, Instagram, websites, eBay itself is in the palm of everybody's hand. We've all seen over the last 4 or 5 years, charity shops waking up to the fact that they have access to eBay. They have access to that information about what something might be worth. So we're in an information age and it's out there now. How much effect our channels have has always been up for debate, and it always will be debated. But I think, like George says, a lot of people do come into reselling through perhaps the videos, through Instagram and the community on there. But once you realize it's a lot of effort, it's a lot of work, there's a huge drop-off rate. It's why our channel has 30-odd thousand subscribers, but most of our videos only get 2, 3, 4, 5,000 views, because most of the people have been and gone and given up reselling already because it was too much like hard work. So,
yeah, definitely. Just to go in, I've just looked at the Ashes box set, and you can get one delivered from the merchant sellers for £3.30. Considering it'll be small parcel, then yeah, it's got great rank, 4,000, but no FBA sellers, and but yeah, the merchant price is around £3-4 delivered. So it's not worth bothering with, and it's restricted for a lot of people now, DVDs anyway. So
of course, I was going to say, quick, send all of yours in FBA, but you can't, I assume. Oh, well.
Yeah. So there you go. Well, there is 2 FBA sellers actually. Correction, I can see 2, but yeah. So all right, but not really my bag anyway. But Yeah, that's the thing about the people. I have noticed, like we mentioned the other week about the game Jurassic Park Operation Genesis, that has been affected by prices, but also it's been affected, I realised, because they came out with a newer version on the modern consoles, not the same game but similar. So I think that will have affected prices as well. So you do see it, but you don't know if that's also affected just because people can look it up easier. It's hard to say.
There's so many different things influence it. eBay themselves have been really pushing for the last few years to attract the average person to sell their stuff on eBay, and they're making it convenient and cheap for the average private seller to do it. So I think that's had an influence. Certainly, there's so many more people. The technology is so much easier to use now. You can do it all on your phone. All of that push to make it easier. There's so little barrier to entry now. And I mean, just as an example, when I started on eBay seriously in the early 2000s, I've been doing it since the late 90s, but when we started seriously, I would still meet people and have to explain to them what eBay was, and as an eBay reseller full time, I didn't know any others, you know what I mean? And it has moved on so much. I don't know anybody who hasn't heard of eBay now, you know what I mean? But going back to the early 2000s, it was the Wild West. It was new and it was unusual. It was kind of a geeky collector's place. It's now as mainstream as you like. They're advertising on primetime TV. They're advertising on radio. And yeah, it's in everyone's consciousness, and it's in the palm of your hand in the phone. So that's had a huge effect. Plus, everybody is sharing. We're living in an information sharing world now, and that cat is out of the bag.
That's definitely. I mean, I've certainly noticed it even with gaming. I mean, little factors like, for example, the people who like fund their gaming collection by buying stuff at Car Boot and selling it to CEX, and then buying stuff for their own collection kind of type. A bit like Game Boys Are Awesome. He buys stuff which funds his own collection.
Yeah.
CEX never used to have an app. They've now got an app with a scanning function on, and that has changed things loads because you never used to be able to do that. And now I see people with the app just going through scanning stuff and seeing what's worth, and just little things like that, a thing here, a thing there. That's all going to affect things. I don't think there's just one thing. I think it's a bigger picture.
And I think also just recycling is trendy. It's the trendiest thing right now. Recycling, reusing is super trendy. Not that many years ago, a lot of people wouldn't use secondhand, wouldn't think about selling something on to cash it in, but everybody's at it now.
Sorry, I've got motorbikes again outside.
It sounds like it's right next to you. It's bizarre.
Apologies, everyone. It's basically live by a racetrack almost these days.
Let's have a look in the chat.
I've noticed something else recently that we're saying about media is that Blu-rays have taken a real nosedive in value. Because obviously they're selling them in Poundland now for £2 each. It just seems like what's happened to it. What happened to DVDs about 5 years ago? It's really taken a nosedive. But the charity shops aren't catching up because most that I go into are selling Blu-rays for £3, £4, that sort of price point.
Really, there's some are like that around here. There's one that's really good, which everything's 50p, and then every now and again they'll do 4 for £1 on CDs, DVDs, and Blu-rays. Which is where you need to be, I think, to sell in volume these days. But you see it at car boot sales. I can go to one stall and the CDs are 3 for £1, and the next stall they're like £2 or £3 each, and that's fine. People can ask what they want, but they're taking them all home at that price.
Yeah.
I was just reading. Wolf Resale says, I think charity shops lost their way with having eBay stores. As a kid, I loved them, as my pocket money went on toys and clothes. Now with them using eBay and asking £10 for a used board game, I think there is some of that going on, but you can't blame them for trying. They're trying to maximize what they're going to get back for this stuff. And if they're doing right by the charity, to be honest, they should be on eBay and they should be charging as much as they can. I think sometimes they get the wrong idea because they'll do the printout we all see stuck to, I don't know, some item, and it will be an item that hasn't finished and is listed at an outrageous price. And if you go on eBay yourself and you search sold, which is different to listed, obviously, they're not achieving that, but they go on and they think because somebody's asking 50 quid for a first edition Harry Potter book that they can charge it. So there is a bit of an imbalance between, you know, what they're realistically going to get or are able to get and what they price things at.
Well, I think Harry Potter's a good example. I mean, because recycling is cool, places like, I think it was Unilad or one of these Facebook things picked up on and put a story up about first edition Harry Potter's being worth money, and now Facebook Marketplace is drowning in for late release first edition Harry Potter books for like obscene amounts of money. But I'm pretty sure like all the hardbacks are first edition, but I could be wrong on that. But yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, there's a difference between first edition and first edition, if you like, isn't there? Yeah, the hardbacks are the first edition of it, but then you've got first print, first edition, and the early print runs are where the value is, I believe. I'm not an expert, but I've sold hundreds of Harry Potter. I just sold a Welsh one. I don't know. I think I shared it on Instagram. I went through all my Harry Potter books again recently, made up a few bundles, and I found one which was Harry spelt with an I, not a Y. And then I realized, oh, it's Welsh, and it was first edition, first print. Still wasn't worth masses, but it sold to America a couple of days ago, which I thought was interesting.
I've sold one in Hebrew before. That was ages ago.
Wow. Was it worth a lot?
No, it was 10, 15 quid or something like that. It was ages ago. I know I've sold that. But saying about the eBay stuff, I've had a chat with various different places. There was a Bernardo's I was chatting to, and they have like a crate which they put anything that they think's worth listing on eBay in there, and then that goes once a week. Whatever's in the crate goes to head office. But the problem is that the shop itself has got weekly targets, or it's either weekly or I think it's monthly targets that they've got to hit. Otherwise, people come in and go, what's going on? And any of the money that comes from the sale of that eBay stock doesn't go into their profits. So there's no incentive for them to put it in the box to get it off. So often it goes out onto the shop floor because they don't get any of that money. So then, do you see what I mean? That they're affecting their own targets by doing that. So they've kind of got it a bit messed up. I think it's the same with RAG as well. I think that they don't. I think head office gets the money for RAG, and the individual shops don't get any kind of.
Yeah, I can see why it would get frustrating if you're a manager of a shop with targets to send the cream of the stuff off and then not get rewarded for that. That would be
But then there's a chain around here called might be of the country, I don't know, called Lighthouse, and they have their own specific what they call retro shops, which all what they deem as the cream of the crop goes to these shops. And I personally don't even bother with them anymore because they're literally everything is eBay prices. And fair play to them, a lot of it is what completed listing shows eBay prices, but they're not factoring in that some of this stuff is really niche, and you're not going to get these obscure collectors happen to come into your shop to buy this stuff. So you're not going to be able to achieve, I don't think you're going to be able to achieve those kind of prices on niche things.
Yeah, there's a chain round here, which is a really good chain of shops. I think you've been in a couple with me. And they've changed one of theirs to exactly that. They've called it like a retro collectibles place and just kind of doubled the price on everything overnight. And the more kind of hipsterish stuff, if you like, all gets sent there now, and they're charging top dollar for it. So like you, I've just stopped going in there because they're selling it at what I would try and sell it for, which again is fair enough fair enough. You can't knock the charity for doing it. It's just, you know, we're trying to buy this stuff with a margin on it, and yeah, it's getting more.
Yeah, I mean, you know, charity shops aren't just for resellers, and I can't knock them too harshly, but as long as they're realistic, as we always say, because even if I was an end user and I was, say, a record collector looking for records and they got it marked up at eBay prices, then I probably would buy it off eBay because I've got, you know, returns, I've got much more sort of protection than just going into a shop. Essentially.
Hey Sam Mayo is in, says, hey, thoroughly enjoying your channel. You've inspired me to maybe start buying and selling. I've learned a lot from your videos. Well, good luck with it. Be careful, it's quite addictive. Wolf Resale says, I had a charity shop selling the Lego Creative or Creations, saying selling on eBay for 200. They asked 100 at the time, and sold was going on at 20 to 30. That's great. Okay. Bexify sold her first GSP item the other day. Good for you. Got good feedback. Fantastic. We had an annoying one. We received it back the other day from Australia. We sold a suit. It was quite high value. I can't remember what it sold for. And it went GSP to Australia. He then claimed that the sizing was described wrong, although Andrea measured it and put it all in. Anyway, cut a long story short, he sent it back and we have to pay the return. Now, this was quite a heavy suit from Australia. I think he paid £36 to have it sent back. So I don't know what it was. It might have been £50, £60 suit. But obviously we've had to refund that. And now it's cost us 36 quid to have it back. And we lost, I mean, it was GSP, so we only sent it within the UK, so that would have been £3 or £4. But the whole deal, we're now down nearly 40 quid. And we've got the suit back, so we're going to try and just sell that on again and just to recoup what we've lost. But that's, you can't let that put you off, though. That's a 1 in 1,000 thing, and it's just annoying.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I've had it a lot on Amazon. We won't go down that road, but people just returning stuff or just stealing stuff out of it, just keeping the disc or, you know, sending back something else. It's so rife that it all comes out in the wash and it all levels out overall. So as long as that's not happening with 50% of your items, you'll be okay.
Yeah, I think, yeah, we won't get onto Amazon. Oh, thunder's coming. We need a storm here. But yeah, I think I said to you, I've got a list of dodgy looking returns on Amazon that I need to ring up and ask about. And I'm pretty cheesed off with Amazon full stop at the moment. Yeah, my patience with it all is wearing thin. Well, we'll see. We'll see if I carry on with Amazon after this year.
Yeah, definitely. It's certainly wearing thin for me because I'm restricted at Apple. I'm restricted in music, restricted in DVDs. I'm restricted in all sorts of stuff. And and there's also a new thing which is really shitty. Excuse my French, but is that there's a new thing that's happening where you buy something. It happens often with popular items, and I'd had it before with DVDs when I used to do them, but I'm getting it now with books and stuff. Is that you buy something, you go to list it, you go right to the end, you're just adding it to a shipment, and it says that what is it? Something like the quantity of this unit, you've reached your maximum capacity. Basically, they've got too many of them at the warehouse from other sellers, and they don't want any more. But they don't tell you that until right at the end. So you've potentially photographed the item, which I don't always do, listed it, you bought it right at the end, and then you realise you can't sell it. So it's a proper dick move. It really is bad. They should, if that was the case, they should temporarily not let you list it. I mean, you can still, some of them you can still list merchant fulfilled at least, but it's really annoying when it's happened a lot for me on RA stuff, and it's really put me off RA stuff when it happened a lot in health and beauty items. So I'd go to Tesco, whatnot, buy a load of stuff off the shelf, come back, go to list it, and it's like, oh, I can't even sell it. so that it ends up going on eBay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
MW says, we complain about goodwill here, so I assume that's in America. But having visited England, I saw that your charity shops are asking a lot more for stuff. Yeah, I went in a goodwill when we were in Florida, and it was huge. It was overwhelming. There was so much gear there. I didn't know where to start.
Yeah. I went in a few. I went in one in San Francisco. No, two in San Francisco, and then some other ones in California. And I just got ridiculously excited. But what I realised with a lot of them is when I went straight to the media section, there seemed to be far less quality control. So you'd open up cases and there'd be no disc in. It's like, I thought it was like GameCube games. I was like, oh bloody hell! I open it up and there's no game in, and it seemed like they just sort of chuck it out and, oh, that'll do. I mean, that could have just been the couple I went to, but it did seem like it was more, just get it out there. Like literally everything and anything you can possibly think of, down to pots and pans and cutlery and knives and God knows what.
Just trying to see if there's any comments or questions we can touch on.
We've got Bazza, a good comment from Bazza. I found some old Polly Pockets in a charity shop last week, and the woman at the counter says to my 6-year-old, "Are these for you?" And she replies, "No, Daddy, you're selling them on eBay." Dropping you right into it. That's classic.
Yeah, I had another moment where I was browsing in a charity shop quite near the counter, and my ka-ching went off super loud. And there was just this eerie silence, and I just looked across, and I just carried on.
Yeah, I normally put my phone on silent if I go in charity shops now, because also I've had it where I wanted to check the price. You know, when you get like on CDs, you get like 4 for £1 and whatnot. And I was checking on Ziffit and Music Magpie, and I was trying to be subtle, and then my phone goes beep really loud. I'm like, oh my God, just kill me now. I was trying to play it cash, but all of a sudden, like my phone just makes the most enormous beeping sound.
Yeah.
Oh.
The Toy Picker says, hello from Edinburgh. Lovely place. I've been there, and I'd love to go back. Not far from where I stayed as a cancer research, and everything sells from £3 and under. They do sell large items, and they're reasonably priced. We have a cancer research in a town near us. It's one of their big stores, almost like a sort of Goodwill size store, and that's really good. They are much more in the mind of turn it over, put it out, price it at £2 or £3 and let it go. And I've had some amazing gear out of there.
Yeah,
the research are getting it right.
Someone posted about that in the UK reselling group recently, because cancer research do have, I don't think they're called clearance stores, but they are. There's one in Derby, and it's like stuff that's either done the rounds from the other shops, because sometimes they have other prices on, and it's sort of £1, £2, £3, under £3 and under. And British Heart Foundation also do that. They have clearance stores as well, so you can get some good deals in those where you can see that it's been up for sale in other places for more money, and because it hasn't sold, you're able to get it for 50p or £1. That's good.
And I think if these shops, like the cancer research place I'm thinking of, I'll go out of my way to go there, and every other reseller I know in this area, in this sort of 5-mile radius, all make an effort to go there. And resellers really prop up that place, I'm sure. But then even end users will know that you can rummage and find a genuine bargain. And that's the magnet that pulls people in. I think some of the chains like Oxfam, for example, their resellers don't even bother going in there. They must lose a big margin. I'm wondering if they've passed a tipping point where they're doing a disservice to their business by not having those bargains in there that people are hunting for. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a difficult one, because I know I've been over to where Andrew lives, in Shrewsbury, and there's an Oxfam there, and they do a roaring trade, but their prices are ridiculous. But they very much have, it's almost like you almost wouldn't know it's a charity shop. It looks like an oldie worldly books shop.
Yeah,
So
I think you're right. I think they decided a while back, or management decided that they were going to target a different audience, not necessarily the bargain hunters, the more sort of wealthy people who want to give back. And if that works for them, then fair enough. I just wonder if not having those bargains that we are going and rummaging for is damaging them.
yeah, and also like what I put it, the items that they don't sell, obviously they you would imagine that they then clearance them out, or what happens. I just hate to it be that they price it so high that no one buys it, and then it goes to landfill, if that makes sense, just because of their greed. That's the only danger.
Do you know what a Saxa boom is? Game Boys Are Awesome says, my best find at
I've
the
heard
car
that.
boot was a Saxa boom for £2. Look out for one, guys. They're worth a lot of money.
I've never heard of that. I always don't want to look it up just in case it's something I've
It
seen.
sounds like some weird 80s musical instrument, but it might not be. I've no idea.
I've no idea. I'll have to look that one and see. But yeah, there's some like that. Some
Mike's Graphics is in. Hi, Mike. Good to see you. He says, I sold 2 jigsaws, cost me less than £20, sold for over 200 for jigsaws.
were they new, Mike, or were they used? That's insane.
That is crazy.
We've got Wolf Resells in that says, I volunteer in Oxfam and they have a set price for brand, I can't read that, M&S tops or trousers to be priced at $13.99. Jesus, for M&S.
Yeah. Bexify has asked me, will we be doing another clear out car boot soon? I do have a bunch more stuff and what was left from the video we did recently, but I'm thinking I'm going to do a big job lot on eBay and just shift it that way, just as an experiment, really.
Yeah. Well, we talked about this the other day because I've got a ridiculous amount of DVDs left over from that I had recalled from Amazon, and I was going to do a car boot. I did one. When was it? It was the last car boot I did. So actually, it was May time. Was the last car boot I went to, but I was selling. I've got so many to do, but there's so much stuff to sell. But yeah, it's just getting around to it. I thought about coming down to you because I think you might potentially be able to realise better prices because up here, I mean, there's people doing like 8 DVDs, 10 DVDs for £1, and that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
So,
I've noticed even in the short term, DVDs in the last year or so, nobody's even looking. I took a couple of crates last weekend and I must have sold a £5's worth out of them, if that.
Yeah.
Because they're everywhere. And I didn't buy them in the end, but it must have been 3 or 4 months back. I went and somebody had like 4 or 5 crates full of DVDs. And I was rummaging. I picked out a few little gems. And they said to me, give us a tenner the lot. There must have been 500 there. And I nearly just said, yes, please. And then I resisted. But that's what it's come to with DVDs. And I think that's the Music Magpie effect. They've scanned a few in and been offered like 2p each. And then they go, oh, so there's no value in them. So, yeah. But I don't know. I may do another car boot and try and blow out some of what's left and then do a job lot. I don't know. Depends. Oh, it's starting to rain here now. Thank goodness.
Sergeant Sports just put a saxoboom is a toyish saxophone sold in the late 80s. And yeah, if you Google it, I remember them from when I was younger.
Wow. I'll have a look at that when we go off there.
No, I've never seen one in the wild, but I do remember, I think, the adverts for it. So there you go.
Kenneth Christensen is in. Good to see you, Kenneth. He says charity shops are still cheap in Denmark because we don't have a Danish eBay.
Oh,
interesting.
That is interesting. I've just sold a computer game to Denmark via Facebook gaming group, which is a rarity. But yeah, so that's going to be an interesting post.
Nice. UK Bay says, Nick, big storm heading your way over Stevenage now heading north. It's just arrived. It's literally just turned up and it's tipping it down. I can see lightning out the window. I can see a rainbow.
Quick, go and get a pot of gold, mate.
Yeah. How are we doing for time? Oh, we've been going for an hour. I'm going to read out a few more comments and we'll wrap this one up soon. Pete's Retro Collectibles, good to see you, Pete, says, sometimes you win at a Chazza. I bought 2 Polaroids yesterday, £4 each, sold the second one just now for £20 and £16.50 shipping on top. Yeah, the bargains are still in there. I mean, we're not having a go at charity shops. We're just, I don't know, things evolve and things change, and it's always fascinating to talk about it with people who know what we're talking about. But I mean, charity shops right now, compared to when I started this full time, it is like night and day. Less people are going in them. It seems to me it's trendy to shop in charity shops now. People don't have a problem buying secondhand in the main. When we used to do it, some members of our family were shocked we'd even buy secondhand stuff, like for ourselves or for our daughter, let alone buy it to sell to someone else. It was like an alien concept, but it's so accepted and acceptable now. But yeah, we used to go to charity shops and find like vintage 80s toys, Transformers, all just chucked in a box. You know, you would not see that now.
No, there's absolutely no way. I sometimes I lie there at night cringing at the amount of stuff that I remember. I remember going to charity shops and there's like Game Boys there and just all sorts of stuff. I think, God, I'm such an idiot.
Yeah, well, hindsight is wonderful, isn't it? I mean, if I could go back just 10 years and look around the same boot sales, it would be like, oh my God. Because we're only focused on what we know and what we're looking for on that given day, really, on what our knowledge is telling us.
I can remember it was when I didn't live here. I lived nearer to Stoke, and I used to go to the car boots, and it's just because I've been on YouTube. I think I've been on YouTube nearly 10 years now, and I just started YouTube, and I remember regularly going to the car boot. I come home, and my missus would go, "Oh, did you get anything?" And I go, "Oh no, I've got nothing today. All I bought was the bacon sandwich, and that's it." And like, how could I have not seen anything? It just makes me think, what? Yeah.
I think back to when I was a kid growing up in a little village near here, and we'd have yearly jumble sales run by the Girl Guides or the Scouts or whatever. And just thinking back, I'd just buy a couple of bits for myself, obviously, because I was like 10 or 12 or even 15 or whatever. But I can picture now the piles of board games and the piles of vintage electronics that were there. And I remembered the dealers being there because I remember as a kid, and I used to help out at some of these in the Scouts and stuff and be behind the stall. And even then, we're talking in the 80s and some of these, I'd remember there were dealers then that would buy like all of the electronics or a stack of board games. It was happening then, but I don't think I realized at the time where this stuff was going, but that wasn't for personal use. But I think back and the stuff that would have been on offer, you know, the vintage electronics and games and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, it's mad. And I would have sold it as when I was helping out, you know. So there you go. Hindsight, eh? Right.
Indeed.
I know we've missed a lot of chat. Sorry if we've missed any questions. Just have one last look through.
I distinctly remember a car boot, and it's when things twigged in my head. It was over 5 years ago, and it was one near Derby called Willington. And there was a guy there. He was a Lithuanian guy, and I can remember it to this day. And his entire stall was PS1 games. He had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of PS1 games, and people were just walking by them, just didn't care. And he got sealed ones, and I was like, you know, maybe I should buy a few of these. So I bought most of his sealed. He was selling for £1 each, and I was buying a few of his sealed ones. And yeah, I just remember it so vividly to this day. He had 2 entire big, like, fold-out tables just covered in PS1 games. Don't know why he had so many, but yeah,
wow.
Weird.
I remember. I have a distinct memory about PS1. In the early days, we're talking about 2002, I think. Here, I used to go around, and there was another guy. I ended up getting to know him, as you do. You're kind of rivals in this game, and we were wandering around. And this was the point when PS1 was being. Everyone was getting rid of PS1 and N64. It was all get rid Dreamcast because PS2, Xbox was the thing, and so I remember walking around and I spotted one of those little racks for PS1 games that it used to have. It was a double and it was full.
Yeah.
And I spotted it and I was marching my way over to the store, and this guy that I know appeared nearer, and he started walking. I started walking quicker, and he got there and he just said, "How much for the lot?" As I got there, so it was within earshot, and he's like, "How much for the lot?" "Oh, £5." And he bought with the console. And I was like, and it just stuck with me because there was just so many good games there. Because like a fool, I stood there and watched him do the deal. But that stuck with me for years. Well, to this day, clearly.
Yeah, it's funny. I think we've all had that, or the opposite way, that you've bought everything and someone's coming in to try and buy the bits, and you're like, no, I bought all these. And they've been like, what, all of them? Yeah, all of them.
Yeah, I've had some really sarky comments when people have come along and picked up some stuff, and I'm like, "Oh, sorry, I bought that." And then they go to pick up something. I bought all. Like you say, no, I bought all of it. And they're like, "Oh," and they're just.
I've had people rummaging through my bags, because they think. But also vice versa. When I used to buy coins and stuff, I remember once I went to the store and I was looking through this thing of coins, and the woman went, "Oi, what are you doing?" And I realised I was going through a float.
Oh yeah,
I was so lazy to focus. She's got a couple of old pennies in there, and I didn't think. I was just going through a float, and what that must have been like on the other side. Just some flipping weirdo come rummaging through your float. Yeah. Oh well, you got to laugh at these sort of things.
Exactly. Yeah. And you can't win them all. That's just life. But it really does stick with me the times I miss a deal or I see someone getting an amazing deal. I tend to forget all the wonderful deals that I do pick up, because the times I fail kind of or miss out sticks with me. Just going to read the last couple of comments before we wrap up. Paula Curling is in and says, "Hi, Nick and Tom. Sorry to hear you will be stopping these chats. I've learned so much. When you chat to other resellers, so much more info seems to come out. Could you just do them once a month?" I think that'll be the case. Doing this regularly every Thursday, I'm just not got the energy and dedication for it anymore. It feels like it's come to a natural end. But I will carry on getting guests on. I will arrange these chats. Tom and I might catch up once in a while, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I don't want the pressure of feeling this is every week anymore, I'll be honest. We're going to carry on with the Sunday show, which we are thoroughly enjoying. But these will just happen as and when I want to chat with someone or, have a catch up or something. So, yeah, that's the idea.
Yeah, and we need to arrange a in real life hangout as well to stream, maybe with a few beers. I think it'd be rude not to.
Yeah, it's been a while. I think the last time was when Zahir was with us at yours.
Oh, there's that time, yeah. But we shan't talk about said incidences.
And we foolishly went live after, I dread to think how much beer.
Way too many beers.
Is that still on your channel?
It is still on my channel, yeah. I'm pretty sure I didn't private it.
I couldn't watch that back.
So, yeah, I think that was on my gaming channel. So, yeah, if people want to see Nick really drunk, head over to Reseller Gaming. And to see Nick hideously drunk trying to... But then you did thrash me on Mario Kart, so, it's a balance, isn't it?
Yes. Okay. Oh, BCP has just dropped the link to your channel in. So, yeah, go over and have a browse and sub to Tom. Thanks for joining me, mate. Appreciate that.
No trouble. Yeah, it's the end of an era, and I must say, personally, I've enjoyed watching them. I want to thank Zahir as well. He does watch this after the fact. It was good. Enjoyed the years of the... I'm getting emotional. The years of the Tat Chat.
Yeah, it's a shame, but it will carry on, but it'll be less regular. Let's just leave it at that. I might do one of these, like somebody, I think it was Paula was saying, once a month or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. I mean, Zahir was a huge part of this. We did countless weeks every week with myself and Zahir. So if you are watching, appreciate that. We'll have to get you back on at some point and have a hangout. So thanks for joining us. We will see you on Sunday. That is carrying on as normal. I made a video today talking about all this bulky stuff that I've been avoiding listing. So hopefully I'll get that edited and out tomorrow, maybe. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Okay. Cheers, Tom. Appreciate it.
See you, everyone.
Bye.